Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the pitching session for call 7, topic 2, user-centric technologies and optimized hospital workflows for a sustainable healthcare workforce. So today, before we start the presentation, I would like to remind you that the session are recorded and the presentation as well, and we will be publishing them on our website and on the B2Match platform. So now you can see that today we will have a few speakers doing their presentation, and the first one that I would like to introduce is Robert. So Robert, the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Robert HOFSINK from Philips Image Guided Therapy, and happy to share a few words about the project idea which we have called SHERPA. SHERPA stands for Smart Human-Centered Effortless Support for Professional Clinical Applications, and at the same time it also stands for the guidance and assistance that we want to provide to physicians to support them in their daily life and optimize the hospital workflows. Next slide, please. So it starts with the challenges, and they will be recognized by many of you. So I've included a couple of examples. So we see the global shortage of healthcare professionals that is expected to grow even more. Another example that I've included here is the exponential growth in data that is being generated in the radiology domain. So the tremendous increase in imaging, while the number of radiologists that needs to deal with the data has only slightly increased. So that is also putting an additional burden on their work. And what we see to address that is that many tools, sometimes AI-based, data-based, are emerging, but not always or even rarely adopted into clinical practice. And there are several reasons for that. Has to do with the lack of evidence on the added value of such tools, and we also see that they are often not well integrated into the workflow, and that there's also not a proper education or training program to use these tools. So what we see is that there is a drastic need for human-centered innovations to really take into account the needs of the physicians in such clinical workflows. Next slide. So yeah, what we did is to translate these challenges into objectives for this project idea. And it starts with the introduction of increased what we've called in procedure intelligence in the clinical workflows. And what we mean with that is that we want to make the systems that the physicians use become more aware of the actual actions that are needed in the clinical workflow, the tasks that are at hand, and to translate that into an increased level of assistance or even automation, so you may say, in these complex or tedious manual tasks. So that's the overall ambition, and as I already stated in the previous slide, it should be a human-centered AI approach. So not driven by what is technically feasible, but driven by the needs of the actual physician. And to make a comparison, I've included an image from the automotive domain. So this analogy may resonate where we recognize the 5 levels of autonomous driving. Where we are currently at some point, let's say stage level 2, assisted driving. You can imagine that for the medical or the healthcare domain, we see a similar roadmap of automation, and that is also how we see the SHERPA project to move towards a higher level of automation or assistance in the medical imaging or in the healthcare domain. Next slide. So that leads to some main activities that we foresee and also impact that it will give. The main activities, the core of the project, will be about the development of data or imaging or AI-based building blocks for the assistance or automation of these manual tasks. And that covers the workflow from diagnosis, planning and treatment, and also triaging stratification of patients. So you can think of automating image acquisition settings with the imaging protocol, but also image processing, image analysis, image assessment tasks that can be automated, but also, for instance, an automatic or a guidance in the device selection that should be used. Next step is to demonstrate and validate these solutions, and together with the physicians, including also the scalability towards other applications where we primarily focus on neurovascular interventions, but also, for instance, see scalability and common technology building blocks that can also be used in, for instance, interventional oncology domain. And in the end, we want to do also the impact assessment of these new tools and workflows, taking into account the early health technology assessments, but also impact on the patient journey that we want to include in this project. Next slide. So at this stage, we have, I would say, a core for the consortium established, so consisting of the team within Philips in 2 entities, together with clinical partners and partners in the Netherlands, France, and Germany, at several stages in commitments, but definitely also interested to connect with partners interested in this proposal from the pharma domain, for instance, in evaluating image-guided drug delivery, or from the medtech device company domain, could be linked to the sizing or shaping of interventional devices and selection of such. But also very happy to connect with patient organizations or partners having expertise in health technology assessments to do that final part of the project in the impact assessment. That's it from my side. Thank you for the floor, and looking forward to your reactions and feedback.
Thank you very much, Robert, for your presentation. Now, Claudia will present her pitch. The floor is yours, Claudia.
Thank you. Could you, yes, perfectly. And I think camera works now as well. Okay, so I would like to give you a pitch about our project where we have intelligent autonomous solutions for the healthcare. And if you go to the next slide, please. Yeah, here you can see what we would like to address. As we already heard, we have the challenges that the staff is very much under mental stress. They have little focus on the patient, and this staff shortage we would like to address with robotic solutions. And the idea is to really take away topics where they are working on which they do not like, and so they can really focus on the patient-centric solutions. Also, if there is a kind of an improvement here, we can improve the workflows, we can speed up the workflows and make capacity free for managing the patients. So the scope is that we have an open platform where we have different common interfaces where you can dock on, and I will show later a little bit how this could look like. We want to validate the concept, how it works, and have a prototype where you have this robotic workflows and really can show different things. Of course, it cannot be only in the one environment, so you have to have the entire work chain. So for example, you have to have consumables, which also fit to that. You also have to have, for example, interfaces, and at the end show that you have the overall robotic workflow. Could you go to the next slide, please? So what we can do concrete? So maybe starting a little bit on the small videos. On the upper one, you have a OR environment, where you have a robotic solution which drives, in this case, to get something out of the shelf. And now it's getting some needle material and brings it to the OR environment. And as you can see, the interface is very clear, very dedicated. And now you have the interactions, for example, with the doctor, and it's kind of showing him, her, where the robot, where the material should go. And in this area, we have it for a dedicated use case, very specific areas where things are setting up. And of course, to make it broader, you need to have the entire workforce and the entire tool chain. Also, there is some information needed. For example, what is the next step? So you need to anticipate the workflows, what is doing where. And the second option would be kind of an area in a lab environment, as you can see in the lower movie, where you have a robot prototype where you can really set up some material. But also you can see here, it is really dedicated features trying things out. And if you try this in the real world, you can really see all the challenges you have there. You have suddenly something which is in the way, we have work areas where you cannot go, and you need to really react on situations. Also in case of an elevator, for example, you need to make it robotized that things are getting addressed. So in the project, we want to really get rid of all these hurdles we have and really show that you can really take things into account. Secondly, we think of having kind of a platform so you can assist in different areas. For example, also one use case could be in a hospital environment for helping if you have to check wounds or something like that. So from the impact, we really want to pave the way to make the innovation in the using automatic features and having really then the possibility to relieve stress from the people working there, and also kind of having more people, the possibility to help more people. But as we all see that it only can work if you have the overall workflow, you also need, for example, the possibility to get things out of the shelf. The next slide, please. So we think that we have a few partners in the consortium. For example, we have one partner which is already in the hospital environment. However, we are still looking for partners, especially outside of Germany, to really take part of there. We also think of having a partner who has robotic arms or grippers. Possibilities could also be kind of computer vision, but also the medical consumables or something like that is one of the partners which we think would really fit very good, because otherwise you cannot make the entire workforce. And maybe also kind of interfacing with how you do the workflow. And with that, I'm happy on your comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudia, for your presentation. And the next speaker is Andreas.
Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you. So we are going to focus on managing the mental health in chronic diseases. Next slide, please. What we do see is that there is an increased cost gap in chronic disease management if there is a mental health diagnosis in comparison without mental health diagnosis. It's specifically high, for example, in diabetes with a high risk of depression, or in epilepsy with a high risk of anxiety, depression, or other psychiatric disorders. So there is an increased burden to the patient, there is an increased burden to the workforce to actually assess the diagnosis and to treat the patients. However, these mental health problems are multidirectional, meaning they can arise from common risk factors of the disorders, from the treatments themselves, from the co-occurring conditions, or genetic correlates. And there are actually, especially in the field of epilepsy, there are standardized guidelines out there, but they're implemented in only 30% of the hospitals, mainly because they do increase the workload for the healthcare professionals. So what we want to do is reduce the healthcare professional workload for this diagnosis by increasing automated screening, monitoring, and treatment planning for the patients, and to increase actually the treatment success within these chronic disorders by increasing the adherence, for example. We will do this, or try to do, we will do this by providing standardized digital solutions that allow to easy assess patients' data, but also due to training and biomarker-based prediction and monitoring models. Next slide. The main activities we have planned in our project are to assess and monitor the needs of the stakeholders. Stakeholders here means patients and professionals. And we will do this, or plan to do this, with an embedded and empirical ethics framework, which is especially relevant if working with AI-driven models. The development and implementation of tools like e-prompts for the mental health radar or digital-based solutions, so that the physician does not necessarily have to administer the interviews or questionnaires himself or herself, but that allows to do that from home and then just alert the physician whenever it's needed. We have developed, in previous studies, we have developed models to predict treatment success on certain medications based on genetics and imaging data. And we will extend that to HL7-based available clinical data on most sites already to predict the adverse side effects, specifically in the mental health, and to predict drug treatment, but also to identify the individuals at risk so that we can prevent the development of mental health issues. Training and empowering the stakeholders means that we try to create a professional and patient-specific knowledge and care network where you can get trainings, where you can file the information, but which also allows an exchange within or across Europe regarding the available tools and features. Of course, we're focused on fair data resources. We're working with models, so we plan to have continuous model improvement and fair data access across research for further research and development. Next slide, please. Our current group is mainly coming from the academic background, so we have a strong expertise in neurology and psychiatry, as well as data science, bioinformatics, machine learning. We do have a good representative on the patient side, specifically in the term of epilepsy, but here we also want to need and have to extend it to other chronic diseases. We have a group in the team that specifically works on co-accountability frameworks, which is even a step further in the co-creation. I think I was lost. Can you hear me again?
Yes, we can hear you, Andreas.
Okay. So we are, as I said before, we're mainly coming from the academic background, and now what we're looking is to research institutes that are specifically focusing on the non-neurological chronic diseases, especially those with high risk for mental disorders, but also experts on machine learning and really on MLOps. Companies, we're specifically looking on companies that are proficient with medical app software development so that we can get the tools live on the hospital side, meaning health ICT on software solutions, but also biomarker development and on prevention strategies specifically. Next slide, but I think I'm done.
Yes, it was your last slide, Andreas. Thank you very much for your presentation. And the next speaker is Hasan.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Hasan GÜNER, R&D leader at ERTUNÇ company. I'll present you NICU SmartFlow. In this proposal, we aim to digitalize neonatal care through smart technologies for improving quality and efficiency. Next slide, please. Neonatal mortality and morbidity are still major global health problems. Improvement of the hospital workflows play a critical role to tackle with these problems. Next slide. Actually, key features of a successful workflow are outlined in the call text, and these features can be implemented through technological solutions that I will discuss now. Next slide. In NICU SmartFlow, we focus on 6 main objectives: unified data management, real-time and continuous monitoring, wearable sensor integration, decision support tools, secure and mobile accessibility, and task management efficiency. Next slide, please. We have already developed and we are still improving key models of the SmartFlow. I would like to give two concrete example scenarios. First example is on the early detection and effective treatment of neonatal sepsis. In this scenario, vital parameters of newborns are continuously monitored at any location by the virtue of wearable sensors and mobile apps. Vital parameter data is collected and stored by remote monitoring software tools. This data set is enriched by the incorporation of other available sources of health information, for example, lab results and medical reports, etc., thanks to the HR7 communication capability. This comprehensive data set is analyzed by artificial intelligence-based decision support tools to make predictions and assist healthcare workers. In the second example, it is about on the redesign of neonatal jaundice management. In this scenario, it will be possible to give phototherapy treatment even outside the hospital and keeping mother and baby together all the time, using wearable phototherapy units, and closely monitor jaundice status using point-of-care will-be meter device at any desired location in short turnaround time. Next slide, please. As ERTUNÇ company, we have been operating in the medical industry for over 55 years, ranking first in Turkey market with over 15,000 NICU devices in over 35 countries. Next slide, please. We have an expert team of doctoral and master's degree holders. Next slide. And we have an engineering team ranging a wide spectrum of medical technology development. Next slide. We work with outstanding scholars from top universities, not just from Turkey, but also from countries in Europe and Asia. Next slide. For instance, we are developing wearable phototherapy units in collaboration with research groups from National University of Singapore and Royal College of Art. We extend our capabilities with international and local partners in industrial and academic sites. Next slide. And we would like to extend these capabilities in these fields in order to develop an innovative workflow platform in neonatal care. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Hasan, for your presentation. Now,
Thank you.
the floor is to Erik.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, many thanks for this opportunity. I'm proud to present Assistance, an adaptive and sustainable digital workflows for healthcare providers. Empowerment. Next slide. Houston, we have a problem, a major overburden for our healthcare providers, as already said to many of you. Staff shortages, increasing demand on the healthcare, and a very insufficient flow within the hospitals. We need to improve the efficiency and satisfaction of our healthcare providers if we want to keep them in our hospitals and want to get a better system. We are trying to develop a user-centered, adaptive digital healthcare framework and user experience. Next slide. Our main activities is in creating an optimization of our digital healthcare framework with interoperability and standardization, as well in FHIR and HL7, but also in STC communication between devices. Technology advancement to optimize the work process with remote control of monitoring and pumps, to optimize the workflow for nurses going into isolation rooms, using AI nudging systems to improve comprehensible information to nurses and doctors, and to create a user interface experience in which human-computer interaction is centered. Current IT solutions like EMRs are collecting data and creating administration burden. The new UX needs to support the work process in an adapted and efficient way For healthcare providers, for example, in the flow of delivery of medication by prescription, preparation, administration of medication by nurses, where the computer can help to double check medication in the process of delivery of the medicine to patients. An adaptive clinical support system is a digital revolution and needs implementation and training. Next slide. We are a large academic hospital in the Netherlands, working with public and private partners for a long period of time, dealing with a major project within the EAH Call 3 Smart and Silent ICU project on this moment with support of Draeger. And already we have a group of interested partners who will collaborate with us. Next slide. But still, we are looking to support from you, hospital, academia, IT partners, or medical device vendors who are interested in the same goals. Many thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much, Erik, for your presentation. And the next speaker is Yoram.
Thank you very much. I hope that you can hear me. You can go to the next slide, if so. So I want to present to you today the capable system, which is a system, as you can see, that is working on several devices, from desktop to mobile devices and up to sensors like smartwatches, like this. And the system is actually meant to improve the quality of cancer patients or other chronic diseases by combining not only the technology, but also knowledge management and psychological models and theories. So we deal not only with a medical situation, but also with mental health. And why is that so? You can go to the next slide. It is basically because cancer, when it's already treated, it becomes more or less like a chronic disease. So in terms of the hospital, the process is a little bit fluid in terms of it goes case by case. It involves, as I said, mental health, and it's a little bit challenging to the hospitals and the patients in order to keep the desired connection between them. So you can see that capable system is working on the mobile phones and on the desktop. So it means that we have user interface for the patients and to the caregivers. On the other hand, it's actually an EU funded project, which started in January 2020, just before the COVID started. And it's ending these days, actually this month it will be ended. We have a working prototype, so it's already proven in the field and in 3 European hospitals, 2 of them in Italy, in Pavia and in Bari, and also in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Please, next slide. So far, the preliminary feedback is that patients and caregivers love it. And this is because it was developed in collaboration with both sides. So we have also the patients present in the project, the patient sides by a patient organization, and also clinicians. We have 2 hospitals, actually the 3 hospitals are in the consortium. We expect to give more evidence-based feedback expected later this year, but from the preliminary results, we are very happy from the results as well as the patients and the doctors. Next slide, please. We think that in relation to the IHI call that we tick all the boxes. So in terms of the expected outcomes, so we are targeting healthcare professionals, the patients and healthcare providers. So all of these will be interested and in the outcomes of the project. Next slide, please. As well as with the impacts, we also feel that we fill all the boxes according to the call. Next slide, please. And therefore, what do we need? We're just finishing the project. So what do we want from the IHI project opportunity? So we want to continue with regulatory, which we started already, but it needs to continue to become a medical device. We want connection with hospitals. We want to do large-scale pilots. And also expansion in the medical, maybe to other cancer types, because currently we have mainly renal cancer and melanoma. Because as I said, the application of the software has a depth, so it goes all the way up to the server with the decision-making process, and it looks at clinical guidelines for specific diseases. So expansion will be, of course, appreciated, perhaps also to other chronic diseases. We also have a potential use case that we can use it for early detection and management of side effects of drugs. So it might be interested to pharmaceuticals. And of course, we need to scale up the infrastructure, maybe to make it as a cloud-based approach. It will be better to scale up. Next slide, please. So we are looking actually for an industrial partner because we have the consortium in place, so industrial partners who can help with these activities that I mentioned and also fund part of the project. That's what we are looking for, and this is why I'm presenting here. Next slide, please. And finally, thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Yoram. Just as a reminder, you all have 4-minute pitch, so if you could please stick to the 4 minutes, it will be really good. So our next speaker is Esmeralda.
Thank you very much. So my name is Esmeralda MEGALLY. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Xsensio, a tech company based in Switzerland. And our proposal is we're actually interested in all 3 topics of call number 7, but we are specifically presenting a proposal for a consortium for topic 2 around streamlining the workflows with personalized health monitoring. Next slide, please. So the challenge that we see talking to many doctors around the world, and we have actually Xsensio has collaborations with leading hospitals in Switzerland, Germany, France, the US, is that there is an overburdened hospital healthcare system around the world. And this is due to understaffed teams, obviously, and leading to suboptimal health monitoring of patients because there are not enough resources to monitor everyone. And as a result of that, the healthcare system is very reactive, where unstable patients are very often detected too late. And that leads to an expensive healthcare system with a lot of complications and more specifically, avoidable complications. And this leads to inefficient workflows. The next slide, please. So where we see the opportunity to present a proposal is to streamline clinical workflows by bringing together technologies along the continuum of care, which means from the hospital to from the ER to the hospital to the ward to the intensive care unit to intermediate care unit, with the goal of really triaging stable from unstable patients and quickly react when a patient becomes unstable, so that we are actually focusing and improving the healthcare delivery for those patients, and then freeing up resources from caregivers, from those that are remaining stable, because we can monitor them remotely. And our goal is to bring together a number of technologies, innovative technologies that look at dynamics of different biomarkers, and we'll show where we focus as a company. So next slide, please. So our expertise at Xsensio is the lab-on skin sensing platform. So we're developing a next generation wearable platform that is not tracking physical data like number of steps and movements and heart rate monitoring like most wearable devices, but we're tracking biochemical data. So in general, we're tracking metabolites, and we're working on proteins, hormones and different biomarkers in the interstitial fluid. So that's our specialty. And for the purpose of this call, our goal is to monitor in real time critical care biomarkers linked to different metabolites that can evolve very rapidly when a patient starts to become unstable. So we are developing the hardware, and there's going to be also the AI and data analytics behind this to really bring in a very innovative way of tracking patients. Next slide, please. So our goal with this IHI consortium that we want to build is to develop public-private partnership, and we're reaching out to all very innovative companies and organizations to join forces and bring a better care for patients, to allow us to better triage patients and identify those who are becoming unstable very quickly, so that we can improve the healthcare delivery to our patients, both in the ER and the rest of the hospital, and be much more proactive when something happens. So we're looking for healthcare companies that develop new hardware, new AI, patient advocacy groups, pharma companies that are interested in actually being much more timely in the delivery of the treatment, and then in general, healthcare providers that can give us insight on how things are done in their institution. Please reach out if you want to discuss this further. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Esmeralda. And now this floor is to Scott.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I think we can jump straight to the next slide. So look, everyone on this call is going to appreciate that we're facing a nursing shortage and the associated systemic issues that come with that. As a result of the nursing shortage, it is increasingly hard to find daily replacements for nurses when they call in sick. It is this daily non-structural nursing shortage that we're focused on. We're currently in the process of developing an AI-powered solution that supports the process end-to-end for managing the daily nurse replacement. The solution significantly reduces the administration burden and unlocks new value for the nursing team in their daily lives. As a result, we've been able to manually validate that in a large EU hospital, the new solution will be able to unlock a conservative 2,000 hours of critical nurse management time per hospital per year. It'll also be able to support saving over $1 million in associated non-structural nursing costs per hospital. And most importantly, it's actually going to directly and indirectly help drive up nurse job satisfaction. So you can see here, we do tick we tick all of the requirements, and the success metrics for it really put us in a good position. If we can jump to the next slide. Thank you. So our primary focus is a solution that reduces the impact of the nursing shortage. Incrementally, we are structuring the project to deliver additional innovation accelerator capabilities. This will be in the form of establishing a hospital AI platform foundation in a way that can be efficiently adopted to any EU hospital. This foundation work will go a long way in accelerating future innovations within the healthcare sector across the EU. If we jump to the next one. So, as of today, we've already conducted 3,000 hours of research into this specific area. We have conducted over 210 interviews across 7 countries. We've reviewed over 500 journal articles and academic publications in this space. And as a part of the process, we identified 428 problems that either directly or indirectly are linked to the nursing shortage. Today, we are focused primarily just on one of those problems. During that R&D phase, we have formed a number of long-term informal partnerships, whether it be directly with the nursing community, with hospitals, professors of nursing, unions, technology partners, just to name a few. We're currently going through the process now of formalizing the relationships with all of those R&D partners so that we can create the foundations of the coalition over the next couple of weeks. We jump to the next one. Now, we are really excited to be invited along today. The chance to connect with everyone and possibly form a coalition to drive sustainable impacts. We are seeking collaborative partners in a number of key areas, and would also appreciate the chance to connect with anyone who'd be interested in working in this space. To call out a few of the key partners we'd like to collaborate with: nurses, Nurses are core to everything that we're doing, from solution design through to measuring the impact. We would love nurses across all of the pillars, whether they're currently nursing or they've moved into a different career path and working with tech partners and everything in between. Hospital partners will be critical. They need to be central to the innovation, from collaborating on solution design and implementation through to scaling to their associated hospitals and validating the outcomes. Academic partners are equally as important for us. We are designing a solution, so it's not just a tool. Academic collaboration will be key in every single market across the EU, from solution design and defining or redefining and enhancing best practice through to independent measurement of the results and continuous improvement. Nursing unions we see as important to the collaboration as they are a key representative of the nurses, so we're looking for them to support the project from end to end. Technology partners, EU health agencies, regulatory bodies, just to name a few of the others that we're very interested in speaking to. So thank you very much. Hopefully I didn't go over the 4 minutes, and look forward to the rest of the presentations.
Thank you very much, Scott, for your presentation. Now we have Maria for her presentation.
Thank you very much. My name is Maria ZISIOPOULOU. I'm from the University Hospital in Frankfurt. Next slide, please. We think that in the healthcare environment, it's not only about how much data, information, and technology you have at your fingertips, but it's what you do with it. So we think that the multimodal use of the right data can help to improve results, processes, efficiency, and quality in the hospital environment. Next slide, please. So we measured standardized key performance indicators in the micro perspective for main interventions in 5 areas: the clinical outcomes, the patient-reported outcomes, the first, second, the costs with detailed cost information per patient, third, processes, 4, quality, and 5, and education and communication indicators. So we have a compressed data quantity and quality because the data are automatically transferred in the scorecard from the hospital system. It's an all-in-one solution. So then certain KPIs are made available to the hospital team in a dashboard with current data. And we also create personal risk certifications using machine learning algorithms. And now we want to give the hospital teams this decision support instruments via web-based or in an app, and with all these algorithms, because we think that personal planning of individual patients can take place more easily on the basis of these risk certifications. For example, bed planning, personal planning, cost information, etc. The next slide, please. So we are bringing expertise in outcomes research, existing large database of clinical and real-world data, opportunities of gathering respective high-quality health data. And next slide, please. We are looking for companies that help us to have all these theoretical algorithms we founded in this app solutions with the decision support instruments. And so we are looking for expertise in data analytics and app development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria, for your presentation. Now our next speaker is Theresa.
Yeah, I'm Theresa. I'm pitching today for Fraunhofer Partnership for Digital Health Solutions, and I'm happy to introduce you to our idea. Next slide, please. So what we are aiming for in our project is to provide a holistic and user-oriented hospital IT system modernization. And we would like to do that via a data-driven optimization of procedures to benefit the health professionals. We also have expertise in automatization solutions by foundation models and AI. And overall, we are aiming to reduce inefficiencies for scheduling, and most importantly for administrative tasks, which are a huge burden at the moment. Next slide. Yeah. In case you haven't heard of Fraunhofer, Fraunhofer Gesellschaft is the world's leading applied research organization. We have 76 research institutes with 30,000 employees. And we are sitting between academic research and industry and are therefore experts for public-private partnerships. I'm very happy that I can present you today a partnership of 6 Fraunhofer institutes. So we have the IAIS on board, which is an expert for foundational models and large language models with long-standing expertise in the health area and hospital systems. Then also the ISST is joining us with expertise in data spaces and data ecosystems and interoperability questions for healthcare systems. I'm presenting the IESE, and we are shipping in our expertise in digital twins and virtualization, and have expertise in health and pharma 4.0 projects, and are experts for dependable AI systems. Then also the IPA is joining, which is has long expertise in workflow and process optimization and data management in clinical processes. Then we also have the ETSI on board, which is bringing in clinical science expertise, project management, and interoperability in medical care, and as AI as well. And then last but not least, the ZDD, which is the Fraunhofer Center for Digital Diagnostics, which is specialized on innovative digital diagnostic solutions from sample taking to data analysis and results reporting. Next slide, please. And of course, we already have been putting our heads together, and we have 4 potential columns for the project. So one is to use foundational models for the hospitals together with the IAIS. Then we would like to build digital twins for medical devices and also for hospitals, to use these virtualization models to drive process optimization with AI. We would like to use the use case of the operation room and the emergency department. And then we are also looking into interoperability questions and clinical processes with the IPA and the ETSI to predict patient paths and then optimize the usage of resources. And because we also think it's very important to provide health data literacy skills to the professionals in the hospitals, we would also like to develop an educational program which is really centered around the needs in the hospital. Next slide. Yeah, so of course, we are still open for partnerships, and most importantly, we are looking for a consortium leadership. So if you are interested in having us on board, please contact us. We are also looking for domain experts for hospital software and also digital twin co-creation. And since we are already 6 research institutes from Fraunhofer, we are mainly looking for industry partners and also university medical centers, which would like to give input to the use cases and also test our solutions in practice. Yeah, so please reach out to me or to one of my colleagues, and then we are happy to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you, Theresa. Now our next speaker is David.
Okay, thank you for having me. I'm the CEO and founder of Safe AI for You, and I'm going to present the foundation project. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we are very knowledge about is that workflow is not optimized, but according to my experience and the people that I know in healthcare facilities, there is a lot of bureaucracy, for example, where most of the medical wards, they have to just think about the papers that they have to sign during the day, and that is very time consuming. And very, very energetic consuming, right? So there is a lot of patients waiting in the urgency wards, and this number is increasing day by day, especially during winter times. Critical patients are not having the proper treatment in time. I have friends that their parents died because they were waiting in the urgency wards, and medical staff is overburdened, more fatigued, especially after the COVID issue, and they didn't recover at all. And most of it is because the workflow is not optimized, you know. And we talk about AI in high-end solutions such as diagnostics and prevention and etc., when a lot of institutions do not have databases or they only have an Excel sheet for their gathering of information. Next slide, please. So the idea behind this is that I want to present the project in the several steps of IT project or responsible AI project. Next slide, please. So it's about fostering optimization, understanding informed decisions. So in field research with teams of medical staff and user-centered design teams, we wish to understand what is really happening, because we can say globally that something is happening, but it changes from institution to institution, and sometimes the bottlenecks are not the same. Next slide, please. Also, if we think about analysis of task efficiency, the idea is exactly to gather the data and understand what is happening, where is more time consuming. And intelligent optimization is use AI to smooth existing procedures, optimize repetitive procedures, and make healthcare digitalization easier, especially for the ones that have a lot of information in paper. There is a lot of image recognition, a lot of text, speech to text. It's only to adapt to the problems. And then the idea is to impact the national healthcare system. Here in Portugal, things are changing. We really need solutions. And I know that it's not only Portugal. We have other partners that have also the same issues. These are problems that exist for more than 10, 20 years, and they don't exist yet. Next slide, please. And so the idea, the potential and impact is to reduce significant administrative costs, reduce morbidity and mortality of patients, especially because of the time of waiting, and also the overburden of the medical staff, decrease the time needed to monitor patients, for example, in clinical trials, increase the flow of patients. Many leave due because of the waiting. I left several times urgency wards because of this. Ensure that proper medical care is delivered, increasing medicine sales. Restructure the public and private healthcare data systems. Next. So, save lives. The main activity will have to use central design approaches to understand each healthcare center and pharma industry. Next slide. Use AI to ease the life of healthcare professionals in pharma industry, reduce bureaucracy tasks, provide speech-to-text approaches, use AI to help the healthcare digitalization processes, use AI to help monitoring patients with anomaly detection algorithms, for example, for heart conditions. Next slide, please.
David, if I may, can you please conclude rapidly, because you are already over the 4-minute pitches. Thank you.
Okay, just the last slide. That it's about the expertise that we already have a consortium of several entities. We already have experience on these type of systems, and we know where it fails. And we are searching for partners that offer in-kind contribution research institutes with user-centric and SMEs and companies for software development. Thank you so much. Sorry for taking so long.
Thank you, David. And our next speaker is Jens.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can you please go to the next slide? Yeah, I'm not presenting a pitch for a specific problem setting. I would like to offer the expertise we have here at DTU. I'm a professor at the Technical University of Denmark, and I have a focus on operations management in healthcare, and I have long experience in optimizing and analyzing processes in the healthcare sector, and also implementing research results in a practical setting. Can you please go to the next slide? So the idea of the healthcare operations management is from admission to discharge. We can analyze and optimize all these processes with quantitative methodology. And we have done many things from admission to diagnosis and therapy. In the recent time, we have done a lot in the COVID area, so identifying COVID patients and then doing some strategies on how to bring them through the hospital from the admission in the emergency department through the isolation then and so on. Let's go to the next slide, please. So the main expertise I would say we have here is from data science, analytics, so we can make a use of raw data and then transform that into information. And then from this information, we're going to support the decisions by either making decisions with the tools, but also using the information to decision support for the clinicians in their clinical work. And we have a feedback loop also that defines the information systems used to improve the processes in the healthcare sector. Can you please go to the next slide? So the expertise area I have is on personnel planning and scheduling, so optimizing workforce scheduling and also taking into account stochastic and replanning problems. We have a lot of expertise in resource planning and capacity management, operating room planning, ICU capacity management, optimizing emergency departments, looking at the patient flow in there. That next topic is then on decision making, medical decision making, so supporting clinicians in their decisions. So for example, deciding about ICU probabilities for upcoming patients. We have done some work, and the toolbox is quite broad. We have from optimization algorithms to simulation, statistical analysis, but also artificial intelligence is one part of that. And can you go? I think there's no more slide. Go to the next one. Yeah, I would like to thank you. And if you feel that you need a strong research partner in your consortium, please feel free to contact me. I'm looking forward to your requests. That's it.
Thank you very much, Jens. Our next speaker now is Jacques.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I am from the Metrovision company based in France, and we specialize in medical devices for ophthalmology. Next slide, please. Yes, so we make equipment to make visual function testing. So that's used for diagnosis of diseases, not only of the eye, but also of part of the brain. And also it's used for the follow-up of treatments and for the evaluation of performance. Aptitudes for driving, for example, or performance when designing new tests, for example, for gene therapy. The challenge actually is that testing visual functions imply something like 20 different tests, constantly using different equipment and manufactured by different companies. So what we have achieved partly is to implement a great number of these tests on one single platform. And that's a great advantage, not only because it does simplify the journey of the patient. For example, if the patient has to go to the hospital for one test, let's say visual field, then the doctor, when looking at the results, discover there is a need for additional tests. He has to reschedule a new appointment to do the additional test, or eventually to send the patient to some other hospital for the test. So that is a great simplification for the patient. In addition, it's a single interface. So that's a great advantage for the technicians who have to learn only one software. Also, it's advantageous in terms of reducing costs in regulatory affairs. because purchasing some equipment nowadays in Europe or elsewhere is very, very expensive. Also cost for the hospital, because if you have several equipment, you need several rooms. It's also simplification for the doctor. Next slide, please. So we want to develop this platform in different areas. Some of them are for clinical research. We are getting more and more involved in treatment of the future. I'm thinking of gene therapy. We also want to go to implement new technologies, especially improve our eye tracking methodology, and also include some machine learning or artificial intelligence, and also to make comparison between visual functions and structure of the eye, such as imaging. Next slide, please. We have also some challenges like testing patients at a very young age, and actually it's a major challenge everywhere. We are looking partners, not really, we're a small company, so we do not really plan to coordinate a large team, but we will be happy to collaborate with hospital, clinics, research institutes, contract research organization, pharmaceutical companies. Next slide, please. So, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Jacques, for your presentation. Now, our next speaker is Xsensio.
Hi, everyone. Scriva is an e-health and electronics medical records and software developer in Iceland since 2007. We have developed a GDP-compliant software for secure paper-free process or web-based questionnaire administration on multiple device platforms. The software is also equipped with a powerful editor for questionnaire construction, as well as management system for the subject's answering progress, automatic scoring and result analysis, as well as sharing of questionnaires and results within the defined teams. The software is primarily designed for clinical use rather than research. Next slide, please. We designed our product realizing that standardized clinical psychometric tests are the pillars of modern psychology. Still in clinics worldwide, they are primarily done on paper with all the hassle, inconvenience, and risk of errors. Available software used for digital questionnaire administration are primarily designed for research use and are not GDPR compliant or clinical workflow or electronic medical record integrated. At the same time that digitalization of healthcare has progressed to the point that it is often blamed for healthcare workers' burnout, employees of psychiatric and psychology clinics are still spending a lot of their times by the copy machines and file cabinets. But maybe that is what is keeping them sane from endless inefficient computer work they are required to perform. More recently, thousands of mental health apps have appeared on the market, majority of them not verified or validated for the clinical efficacy. And as a matter of fact, that is also true for most e-health solutions intended to make the work of healthcare workers easier. Quoting Dr. Gilbert at Informatica, only when scientific research on health IT impact and value demonstration is regarded as being as important to healthcare delivery as clinical trials, we're spending on health IT become rational and systematic. Next slide, please. So we are looking for collaboration in projects where our product called Quera can be implemented for digitalization of questionnaire administration for the purpose of showing improved work efficiency by work hours saved, patient visits and traveling miles saved, increased throughput of patients and user satisfaction, both of the clinicians and the patients. Also, we're interested to work with clinicians and institutions to develop the product further, for allowing them to incorporate their therapeutic monitoring and educational material for remote digital therapy with their own validated content and methods. It is important to realize that our Quera product is not limited to use in psychiatric treatment, can be used for any questionnaire administration or subject information gathering. Next slide, please. QUERA has already been used in Iceland for psychometric testing of thousands of patients, even across borders. QUERA is being implemented at the Mental Health Care Center for Primary Care in the capital region of Iceland. Also, the University of Iceland Psychiatric Department, University Hospital have expressed interest. We have a 15-year experience of e-health development and service provision. Next slide, please. So we are looking for clinical institutions that are interested in improving their workflow efficiency and workforce satisfaction by digitalization of proven diagnostics and therapeutic modalities, and for clinical research institutions capable and qualifying for validation research of work efficiency, effect, and of digital therapeutics. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christiansen, for your presentation. And now we have Dominik as our next speaker.
Thank you very much. And thanks to the organizers to give me the chance to pitch about our proposal that we are preparing at Fresenius Medical Care. My name is Dominik NARRES. I'm working as Manager of Public Funding at Fresenius, and we are preparing a proposal around the workflow optimization in hospitals in the cell and gene therapy area. Next slide, please. What we are currently challenging are the following challenges in cell and gene therapy area. We have a growing patient population with approximately 2 million new cases in cancer each year, and 1 out of 6 patients is dying from cancer. And there are over 5,000 monogenetic diseases that could be possibly treated with cell and gene therapy. However, if you look on the right side of the slide, the manufacturing and supply chain of the cell and gene therapy treatments are complex, as currently a good infrastructure is needed for it. And there's a complex regulatory landscape as well. It is also time consuming. For example, in CAR T therapy, the duration of treatment is up to 4 weeks, in which the patients could be possibly dying. Furthermore, it is extremely expensive, so it's not available everywhere and for everyone. So we urgently need to optimize this workflow around cell and gene therapy to make it accessible to all patients. Next slide, please. Our proposal is to ease this workflow and thereby reduce the workload for hospital staff with bedside devices. The benefits are, for example, reducing the complexity of manufacturing and supply chain by having only one closed system that enables standardized manufacturing processes. This will allow multiple gene delivery methods and new technologies on only one device in an integrated process to have the best patient outcomes. Furthermore, the automation of the workflow will reduce the workload for hospital staff and for laboratory staff. Having a bedside device at the point of care will make the treatment more flexible and democratize the access to the treatment, as no complex infrastructure will be needed around it. And if you look on the bottom of the slide, we aim with this project to have a more patient-centered treatment model with a global access to cell and gene therapy for more patients. We want to reduce the costs in the workflow, while at the same time streamline cell and gene therapy administration to reduce workload on the hospital staff. The next slide, please. We are looking to team up with pharma industry, for example, for the optimal cell and gene therapy targets. What is needed, especially as we want to put the patient in the center, and therefore the patient views are crucial to be implemented. Therefore, we will need patient organizations. We are also looking for academic institutions as well as small to medium biotech companies that are specialized in precision medicine technologies. We are also looking to healthcare facilities, especially with expertise in cancer treatments, to bring the treatment to the patient. And last but not least, we especially need experts in the regulatory affairs to navigate around the regulatory requirements for possible bedside devices in cell and gene therapy. And with this, I'm ending. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to us afterwards via the IHI platform or via email, as you saw in the beginning statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dominik, for your presentation. Now our next speaker is Anne.
Thank you. So I'm Anne Panhelainen, and I'm very grateful for this kind of opportunity to talk to you. I'm the clinical process manager at Soma Medical, that is a medical device startup located in Helsinki, Finland. Next slide, please. So we aim to provide accessible, convenient, and high-quality healthcare by expanding the traditional sites of care through innovative home-based treatments and remote monitoring technologies. Next, please. We're focusing on the treatment of depression and chronic pain, as those are common and heavily burdening disorders that both have very unsatisfactory state-of-the-art in treatments currently. Furthermore, these chronic and relapsing disorders overwhelm the healthcare. Next, please. With our solutions, we have already improved the depression and chronic pain treatments and their accessibility by bringing home-based novel neuromodulation tools to clinical practice. And now we aim to further optimize the feasibility, clinical outcomes, and cost efficacy of these treatments and their management. Next, please. Soma is a partner seeking for a consortium, and we vision the project activities to include designing, building, and validating user-friendly automated systems for treatment management, including, for example, efficient communication, scheduling, and notifications for caretakers, and educating, reminding, and monitoring of the patients. We look for patient-centric AI-facilitated solutions that would provide connected care experience and foster continuity of care in the chronic and relapsing disorders. Next, please. Furthermore, activities would include designing medical devices and also fill the needs of regulators where we are very experienced in. So we are world-leading expert in designing, manufacturing, and bringing to market non-invasive brain stimulation systems that are feasible for home-based remotely monitored treatments. And our treatment systems are certified under the new medical device regulations in EU and also in other markets. And we have been treating over 20,000 patients so far over the years. So this means that we really can say that we have the insight in the healthcare needs as well as in patients' needs in chronic and relapsing diseases. And importantly, we have experience and insight how to actually respond to these needs in clinical practice. Next slide, please. Soma is looking forward to finding a fitting consortium that could compete for the IHI funding. This would be with an innovative project, including, for example, but not limited to, AI-facilitated patient-centric treatment management solutions that would reduce healthcare personnel workload, meaning that these would result to less visits and contacts to healthcare units. But the solutions would also provide continuation of care for the patients to provide better quality treatment. And importantly, our vision is to further develop the individualized treatments based on patient responses and biomarkers. And finally, the project would include clinical validation of the market-ready systems. And regarding our focus, this would be in depression and or chronic pain management. Thank you very much for the attention, and please contact me for further detailed discussion.
Thank you very much, Anne, for your presentation. Now, our next speaker is Ian.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Janne, and I'm representing a company called Adusso.
Sorry, Jan, we don't hear you. Can you start over again, please? Sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much.
Excellent. I'm Janne and I'm representing a company called Adusso. We are based in Finland and our project proposal is user experience monitoring for workflow optimization. Next slide, please. So what are the challenges and objectives in this field? Often challenges with new technologies and clinical procedures are related to user adoption of new solutions, ease of use, information processing burden, and patient safety. However, at the same time, these are the biggest opportunities for success when addressed properly. Our project fits reasonably well into AIGA objectives as we aim to develop more advanced workflow analytics that contribute to the whole topic directly. In addition, it creates opportunities to collaborate with partnering organizations to bring our expertise and capabilities available for collecting evidence on the applicability and impact of new solutions. For example, we have analyzed how remote appointments affected the workday structure of nurses and the satisfaction of the patients. Next slide, please. So the main activities would be identifying target solutions for evidence gathering, planning the fieldwork and refining the objectives, conducting the observations and data collection, and developing the workflow analysis capability based on real examples, and then analyzing the results for assessing the impact, and also disseminating the outcomes and considerations for further adoption of the developed solutions and capabilities. Next slide, please. Our expertise and resource offered are including we have expertise in conducting work studies in hospital settings to understand how new technologies and procedures affect clinicians' workflows. Also, our work is usually done in collaboration with healthcare institutions such as university hospitals to observe existing practices and practical considerations in daily work, and evaluate the impact of new technologies in clinical practices and job satisfaction of healthcare professionals. Next slide, please. And this we actually do in a way that can be done with real-world data, real-world practice, for example, patient appointments, as we can record exactly what the nurses and doctors are seeing on the computer screen, for example. And what we are looking for medtech companies that are seeking to collect evidence about the actual impact of their new solutions on workflows, and research institutions or hospitals that are representing the real-world environment to utilize the solutions, and expert organizations such as SMEs that have complementary capabilities to be worked with in similar settings. So feel free to reach me out on the e-platform or just contact directly me by phone or email. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jan, for your presentation. And our next speaker is Andrew.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to present our idea for developing new tools for measuring user experience. My name is Andrew Spink, and I work for Naldus Information Technology. Next slide, please. So the particular challenge we're addressing is actually quite similar to the last speaker. That's the question of how do you know if a solution is user-centric? You can, of course, ask people, but then you get some drawbacks of that. You get people saying what they expect you to like to hear, socially desired answers. And you can either ask them at the end, and then they'll tell you what it was like for the last minute, or you can interrupt them in their process, and then that also doesn't go well. So what we're doing is we're developing a solution that gives objective measurements an additional data in addition to the questions you ask people based on sensor data. So we use sensors to measure things like stress and emotions and so on, and then we take that data and we do multimodal data integration with AI-based analysis to get deeper insights into the data. This is particularly important for the field of medical devices because they require very high usability. They're used in stressful situations where you really don't want extra frustration. Users aren't always so technical, and it has a high impact. What we develop will not only apply to this field, but also to other R&D solutions. Next slide, please. So the main activity we want to do is to develop a software platform for user experience testing of medical devices, and that will integrate and synchronize all the different data and analyze it. And what we can also do in a project is support partners who are carrying out UX testing for medical devices. Next slide, please. In terms of what we can offer to a project, we don't yet have a project, we're looking for one. And what we bring in is professional software development. We're very experienced in European projects, including IMI projects in the past. And we've done dozens of European projects and over 100 research projects in general. We have technical expertise in aspects like synchronization and sensor fusion, AI analysis, statistical analysis, data visualization, all those sorts of things. And we're a company that exists for 35 years now. We have 120,000 customers from 100 countries across the world, so we're very well established and can be a reliable partner. Next slide, please. What we're looking for in a project is people who can potentially be end users of our tools. So that could be, for instance, developers of medical devices who want to see if they do have high usability, or also UX researchers who might want to use them to carry out those tests themselves. And of course, what we're also looking for is a consortium to join for the rest of the call. Next slide. That indeed is the last slide. So thanks a lot for your attention, and I hope that you'll get in touch with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for your presentation. And now we will have our last presentation from Federica.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I am Federica Vannetti. I'm from Don Carlo Gnocchi Foundation, which is a provider in Italy of rehabilitation, also in post-acute settings. And this is the topic that I would like to develop in this call of IHI. Can you pass to the next slide? Okay, in our settings, we have many problems that are related to the critical condition of our patient, especially patients that suffer of high disabilities. And in this context, we have all healthcare workforce involved in the recovery of patient. So our physiotherapists, nurses, and care assistants are very stressed, both on the mental and the physical side. So we would like to explore solutions with high-tech devices that can bring benefits on the side of workforce. So, for example, we have also a little expertise on the use of wearable sensors to monitor stress level and the biomechanical risk on physiotherapists. We would like also to develop a scenario that could use a robo-companion in order to assist the rehabilitation pathway for patient, or also exoskeleton that could help a patient and assist patients in their movement, and also to leave effort from the physiotherapist. We also would like to explore the increase of this kind integration of these technologies to improve the capacity and resilience of and to improve the work condition of our workforce. Next slide, please. We propose a project where main activities could be analyze the post-acute rehabilitation hospitals environment, put attention to the mental stress of workers and also of clinicians, integrate different solutions, specifically defining 3 different scenarios. So the next activity could be develop demo of this kind of solutions, also by using a co-design approach between all partners of the consortium, technological and clinical and also different kinds. Experiment and test this solution in different, also in different hospitals. So surely could be added others hospitals that take care of patients by means of rehabilitation, and analyze cost efficacies and the impact of the proposed solution. Next slide, please. So our expertise is basically on rehabilitation, post-acute rehabilitation. We, for example, to better understand the post-acute, it means that we have patients after severe brain injuries that stayed also in a disorder of consciousness of coma state. So they have a very impaired and a very high level of disabilities. We have also experience on medical device validation, robots and exoskeleton. We have many collaboration with the university that deploy this kind of medical device. So we have tested the different kind of prototypes in different EU projects, and we have a clinical trial inside our institute, and so we can able to conduct clinical trials taking into account all regulatory aspects. And we have also research units about bioengineering, from AI to biomechanical and biomechanics expertise. We are a not-profit organization, so we cannot put in-kind contribution, and we have just a potential partners about this proposal. Next slide, please. So we are looking for expertise about companies. We are interested to collaborate and to build this project with small, medium enterprise that are producing or developing social robots, body area sensors, networks, or are able to do software for workflow management, also based, for example, on AI. We are interested to have collaboration with research organization, for example, for developing AI algorithms to analyze all the different data that the technological solution are able to extract from the devices. We are interested to develop protocols of interaction between patient and robot companion, or also that able to develop software for cognitive stimuli to put on robot companion.
Sorry, Federica, I will need to ask you to conclude because you are...
Yes. This is the last point. You can find also the slide afterward. I suppose this is the last slide. There is another one.
No, it's your last slide.
Yeah. It's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation. Yes, this was the last presentation for this session. So I would like to thank all the speakers for the presentation. I would also like to thank everyone who attended today's session. And we will have a session tomorrow for pitching on topic 3. So see you tomorrow. Have a nice day and bye-bye.